Hello there, Ladybridge parents and carers. This is the video version of the letter that I've sent you today. I hope, firstly, that you're keeping well. It's such a strange and a difficult time for Bolton in particular, obviously, at the moment. So I hope that you're keeping well and that you're okay. This is about how things have gone since we reopened, and there's a guide in here that's an updated version of the what if guide that we provided before. So firstly, how have things gone this week? Well, they've gone really, really well. I feel on the whole, the behavior and the attitudes of our learners in particular, and the way in which they've returned to school happy, keen to learn, has just been a wonderful, wonderful thing. So it's been brilliant to finally reopen the school fully this week. No major issues really. Not many referrals to the wellbeing team, literally zero requests for any support for behavior, which is incredible. Well, which just doesn't happen in any school. That there's no issues whatsoever, but we literally haven't had a single request support email sent all week. Our learners have been amazing. So they really deserve a well done from me, from you, for how they've conducted themselves since they've returned to school. They've been incredible. Staff have been pretty good too, and staff have been very happy to be back as well, and have been really flexible in their approach. They've been great. School's been really calm. Everyone's doing the bit to make things work. The lanyards that you'll have seen your sons and daughters bringing home have really helped for us to spot the different year group bubbles and make sure everyone's in the right place. We've got quite a few new staff as well this September who have all started extremely well. Pleased with things overall. Not everything's been perfect, and I'm going to be completely honest about that in a moment. But we've learned each day from what's gone well and what's not, and then changed things, adapted things for the next day. So yeah, we're pleased overall. So on the first full day, there were quite a few incidents. So I'm going to tell you now, by the way, about what's not gone so well. First full day, there were a few incidents of year groups crossing each other on corridors and stairwells. And that is reduced. That has reduced dramatically. So that was an issue on the first day. We've changed a few things, made stairwells one way, introduced new routes around school, which have made a big difference. They're not yet embedded, and during the course of next week, so the week of the 14th, I think we'll see a big change, big improvement, where learners are in new habits, going the right way, and making sure they stay apart from learners from other year groups. The way in which we've timetabled things has worked really well, because the vast majority of the time that kind of runs itself, because we've got learners in different year groups and different blocks. Got some issues with masks, so we've not got that consistent yet. Some learners are not wearing masks on corridors all the time. I need your support with that, making sure that all of our learners are bringing the masks in every day. So it's not yet consistent, but it's getting better. So what we're asking for is that learners are putting the masks on before they leave the classrooms. They've always got them on corridors. The big issue that we've got, and I'm just being really upfront with you about this, is that through staff following the guidance, we're likely to lose more and more staff each day who are having to self-isolate because their children have got a temperature and have other COVID symptoms. So for me personally, for example, I'm not in school today. I'm recording this on Friday, the 11th, and I wasn't in yesterday. I am perfectly well, or I feel perfectly well, but my daughter has a high temperature. We've had to seek a test for her following what I'm asking you to do. I've got to follow it as well. and therefore I cannot come into work until we get the test result, which we're waiting on at the moment. She was tested yesterday. So that's a massive frustration for me personally, but a real concern moving forward into next week and beyond. Many of our staff have got young children. As you know yourselves, young children get a high temperature quite a lot when they're ill. So it's very, very challenging indeed. But just to be clear, as things stand, we're not at risk of, we're certainly not at risk of closure. We're not at risk of having to send any learners home because we've not got enough staff, but we've got a handful of staff who are in the same position as me, that are having to self-isolate due to ill children who have got COVID symptoms. And of course, as you know yourselves, we've got an increasing number of our learners who are having to be sent home or not attend school in the first place because they're seeking tests for COVID-19. So that's the major issue. That's the major issue. It's the obvious thing that we're struggling with. And it's because we've got to follow this stuff. So I'm not going to read through all this. You've got it in the letter and it explains itself, and I hope it makes it really clear where you stand as to what to do. You know, if you've got symptoms, if your children have symptoms, it's really clear in here what to do. The one thing I'm going to highlight for you, which is the bit that's highlighted in the document, is about getting tests. So unfortunately, and I'm told there's extra testing capacity now being put into Bolton, but at the moment, from my own personal experience, it's not easy getting a test. New appointments for tests are released in batches. So what I advise you to do is to be persistent, keep on trying on the website, which is there. There's also the phone number, which is there as well. And through that time and persistence, you will eventually get through. I think things are changing all the time for Bolton specifically. And there are walk-in test sites. Now I know there's big queues there at the moment, but you've just got to persist, because if your child's got symptoms, got any of the symptoms, so you know what the symptoms are, and I put a link to the symptoms in here as well. If you or your child or anyone in the house has got symptoms, you've got to get them tested. It's a pain getting the test done. I've just experienced it, but we've got to do it. We've got to do it, because if we do that, it's going to help massively. Unfortunately, the test system doesn't seem to have sufficient capacity at the moment, which means the turnaround is slow. So for my daughter, if she could get her test result really quick yesterday, I'd have been in work today. And obviously I've been working all day. I'm a busy man, things to do, but I need to be at school. And hopefully we'll get that result over the weekend and I'll be back in on Monday. But I'm just being open with you. I'm being honest with you that it's going to be a challenge for us to have sufficient staff at times. But as things stand, we are okay. We are okay. But until there's a change in the guidance, till there's a change in the testing, it could potentially be quite challenging for us further down the line. But we are absolutely determined to remain open and provide the very best we can for your children. And it's a great frustration because we've made such a tremendous start, I think, since we came back. But yeah, we'll keep working together, keep pulling out all the stops to make sure we're doing our best for your children. Okay, I will stop sharing my screen now. I will leave it there. I wish you all the very best, and I will speak to you soon, be in touch soon. Thank you, everyone. Thank you.